I do just want to say thank you, Kathrine, for yesterday. Yesterday was amazing. Thank you so much for pouring into us.
We are on record right now, and I just want to welcome all of you. This is our really first Heat Team call of the year, all Heat Team. We did have a call last night that was unbelievable piece of gold. Oh my God. Patty and Kirsten led us an exercise of how you put your one word together for the year. And I think from that exercise, I think I got my word, Patty. It's taken me a while, but I think it's going to be right. I wanted something that would really pull me and really drive me rather than me having to grasp at things. And I think I did it, and that call really helped. And tonight is Kathrine Lee. And let's see, I will tell you a quick story here of my first time meeting Kathrine. I think Kathrine remembers this. And that was at a boot camp, and it was Carol Renoa's boot camp or regional. And you and I sat in the back row together, and you were a little bit shy and weren't really sure of yourself. And I just remember thinking, this is such a wonderful person, but I just don't know if she's got the oomph that it's going to take to do this business, right? Like I did a judgment right away, really liked you, just thought you were so sweet and loving and kind, but I thought, I don't know if she's going to have what it takes to get bold and to get big in this business. And 2 years later, we re-met at a conference, and you came up to me and had a conversation with me, and I went, wow, this is the woman that's going to build big, build grand, share her heart with everybody, become this amazing coach, which it has happened. So once again, we all know that I am not a visionary. So let's count on that for sure. And then the other thing that I just want to say is that for so many of us, Kathrine, you've been an amazing inspiration, not only just the way you lead your life with your family and your kids and your team, but your vision to create something and how you allowed the magic and the prayer to come through you to allow this Pure Hope Foundation to even happen, that you had the wherewithal to let it come to you. That's just the most beautiful part to me. And for those of you that don't know about Pure Hope, you should definitely look it up, Pure Hope Foundation. It's a place where really women are rescued from trafficking. And the story, if you want to read a great book, is Kathrine's book. Maybe you'll just share that with us tonight too, and how this all occurred, how the whole story occurred. So, and then finally, I'm going to tell you one little teeny bit. I don't know if I've ever actually said this to you, but maybe I have, Kathrine. I really wanted my older daughter, Chelsea, to meet you because I thought there was some connection that I couldn't understand, but I knew that was there in some way. And Kathrine, before a very big convention, set aside 40 minutes for the three of us to meet in a conference room. We sat down, and Chelsea and Kathrine started talking, and they were both rapidly taking notes. Rapidly. And I'm watching the two of them, and I'm just being quiet. And for those of you know me, that's usually I'm an interrupter, and I didn't. And I just felt like I sat there and I was watching, and maybe this is, I hope this doesn't seem not respectful the way I'm going to say this, but I felt like I was watching the Pope and the Dalai Lama get together. And you can decide whoever you want to be in either of those places. But for me, it was the most spiritual, special, personal event that I've had with Kathrine. It was just beautiful, especially that my daughter was included. So Kathrine, welcome to the Heat Team, and welcome to our call tonight.
Oh, thank you so much. You're gonna make me cry before we even get started. Coming on and seeing so many of this team that I love so much. You guys know, if I know you, who you are, and those that I know what you must be like if you're part of this team, because the heart of Chris and Nikki and the way that they have run their team, and the heart of the leaders, I see that each of you are part of this team. And so it's truly an honor to be here. And that time with Chelsea was one of those standalone, you feel like you're outside of yourself moments, as it was when I first met you, Nikki, going, who is this woman? You know, I want to grow up and be like that. Because I was in my, you guys, when I started this, I was in my early 20s. I was super insecure, had no concept of my own identity or worth. And this business and the people in it that I met facilitated my growth. They loved me and stood by me as I did my own personal work, and I grew. And so I want to talk to you guys tonight. It's interesting that you say that last night you guys were led in coming up with your own word, because I felt led to be that first thing. I'm a very interactive, sorry, I'm so short on my, I was cleaning my office today and I think my chair sunk on me. But when today, as I was getting organized and just preparing my heart to be with you, that was the first thing I thought is I love to interact on the chat. And so for those of you that like the chat, I would love to hear your word for the year. I won't be able to read every single one, but I'm just going to open the chat where I can see focus, nourish, peace, shift. Oh, I love it, because this helps me present, believe, radiant, alignment, intentional. Wow, present, revival, value, green, content, elevate. What beautiful things, trust, connection, heartfelt. Like how can we not win when we're around people that's those words? And I hope you continue to share so you guys can all be a witness to it for each other if you have them yet. But I see peace and balance coming in. When communities have that, I don't know how many of you have seen Call the Midwife, but my daughter, it just moved here for a season while she is going back for some more education. And she's been trying to get me to watch it for years. And I was like, I just can't get into it. And I'm like crying every night over this show. And she and I just had this talk about the power of community. And with that, I'm going to share one of my most powerful moments in the power of community, because you think this is fruits and vegetables in a capsule, and it is. Without that, we wouldn't change the lives that we're changing. And that fuels the income that can come and the possibilities that can come from income. But it's the community of the quality of people that I see. And I'm telling you, I've been around some pretty cool people. I mean, if you think about Oprah, right? And it's not just being on her show a few times. And I got a chance to be in her commemorative magazine. So I worked with her staff a lot, different people from different parts of her staff that do different roles, high quality, high caliber people. And then I worked on another project with some super high people. I work with a lot of executives. So I've had the privilege of working with privileged people, people that have worked hard and gotten to far places, and with our young women that have been trafficked. The worst of the worst things that could happen to you. And yet they're the most resilient human beings you'll ever meet, because they survived what they survived, and they're willing to step into community and trust to restore their lives. So community is huge. And I'm telling you, our Juice Plus community, in fact, the young women that we help also have jobs at our ranch where we have small group retreat centers, and they get mingled in with the other young women in our community. So they're part of the staff, and nobody knows who's who. It's one of the beauties of the dignities that we give. But they always say, is it a Juice Plus group that's coming? We love them. They're amazing people. And there's something about that. And the time it hit me the strongest for me personally, because of all of us somewhere need to find inspiration internally, and we're going to talk about that in a minute, but we also need to find it in community, be inspired by the people we hang out with. And to be honest, I didn't trust a lot of people in my early years. I didn't grow up in a family that brought trust or had any trust in it. And so I didn't know how to trust at all. And I didn't know how to belong well at all. I don't know if any of you understand what I'm saying, but put a 1 in the chat if you do. I just kind of want to get an idea of, like, am I tracking with you? Because when you haven't learned to trust, or your trust isn't broken so much so you don't trust anymore, and you don't feel like you belong or fit in anywhere. Yeah, I'm seeing lots of 1s. We've all had a season, most of us in our life, or at least a moment where we felt like that. And the time I knew I was home and this was truly family, and I don't think Nikki knows that part of this story, was when my first husband left me and my kids, had an affair with my best friend. Like, talk about not belonging, not trusting, betrayal, right? Like, we were in each other's weddings and rooms when babies are born, and this affair happened, and now I'm with my kids. Thank goodness for my Juice Plus income. Thank goodness I did find that oomph that Nikki's talking about. I did not know what was coming. And I know some of you can relate to that. I did not know I was going to raise my kids right by myself for a season and financially only be dependent on myself. And that Juice Plus business did that. So I went through that season, and my leaders rose up in a way. I think I had to get out of the way for them to be in their greatness. I don't know if any of you can relate to that. Maybe some of you are the leader that's holding back the greatness in your people because you're trying to be super helpful and it actually cripples them instead of equips them. Or maybe you're the one that's expecting your leader to do everything for you or to coddle you and to do the things, and you're saying, but I can't do this and I can't do that and I don't know how. And I just was, I couldn't anymore because I was devastated, my kids were devastated, and my leaders at that time rose up. And I think 50% of it was they rose up on behalf of me because they wanted me to be okay as a single mom. And they knew their influence and impact, right, would influence me and impact me. And that inspired me a lot. But when I knew I was with family was when I got remarried. If you really want a good love story, read Interrupted, my book from Amazon. You can just buy it. But it's a great story of how we came into this issue and helping with trafficking. But you'll get all the dirt on me, and you'll hear one of the greatest love stories of all time, which is my husband Michael. And when he came in my life and we got married in a small town, and because we just were like, where do we get married and where does the guest list stop and start? So we just kind of went away and had this very small wedding with family. Then we went to the Juice Plus conference and we went to the Saturday night party. Well, the Saturday night party, and actually it was Winterfest. This was Winterfest, not the conference. That was about the size of a conference back then.
Yeah, so Winterfest, a lot of people might not know, Winterfest was the boot camp that Chris and I put on for 14 years.
Yeah, it was epic. Everyone wanted to get there, be there. And it was, I could not wait to bring Michael, who was a skier, and and do that. So he got to ski while we got training. And that night we went to the Saturday night party, and they had created, Chris and Nikki, a surprise wedding reception for us. And it still just makes me bawl. And they were like, are you kidding? We had to celebrate love coming back into your life and real love. And I mean, that is inspiration. That's when we belong. And that's what this powerful community can do. And so it's fascinating that individuals make up a community, and we have to have our own inspiration. We do our own part that then comes together. It's like, a match lighting another person's, match. That fire can be given to each person. And so we can receive inspiration from each other. But I want to talk a little bit about belonging to yourself, owning yourself in your business. And it won't take long, but I want to go through 12 things, and they're simple, but they're profound, that will help you inspire yourself to action because you forget what you're a part of. Because we're entrepreneurs, we're on our own. And sometimes we forget that we're part of a multi-million, billion-dollar company, right? We own a franchise. And when we're in our PJs all day, right? How many of you, I wonder right now, you don't have your screen on, or you have PJ pants on with your regular top, right? That we forget what an epic, huge thing we're part of. And so we need to spark our own flame sometime. And I'm going to share with you, what are we inspiring ourselves to action to? This is super quick. You guys know this, but I can't give you the DMO, right? What are the basics? And I know you guys are going to say, I know. But there's a knowing, doing gap. You may know it, but are you doing it? But the bigger thing is why? What do you want out? Why do you want to be inspired to action, to do these things? Because the things are, the bottom line is we know this, our DMO, and this is what I teach my team all the time. Know your why. I mean, one that makes your heart race or your heart ache, right? Meaning you're so excited to get up and you're willing to get uncomfortable to do the things that aren't always comfortable for us to do. Because the excitement of what you're going to get out of it, the return is so much greater. So is your heart racing or is your heart aching over something? And you know that finances and time, you having more finances and more time will help you with that heartache. That's what Chelsea and I had in common. I had gotten to a point of success that I had all I needed. I don't think we need to consume. We can consume so much and have so much. I wanted to make impact and legacy and do something about something in the world. And the issue of trafficking broke my heart. And I never would have thought fruits and vegetables in a capsule would become such a force in the anti-trafficking movement. But you guys, we have together, every one of you, a donation in your names to our end of year campaign to build another transitional living cottage that will allow us 2 more girls, right? 2 to 4 at a time, right? Is what we want to do. And who would have thought it's fruits and vegetables in a capsule that's funding that? So is your why getting your heart racing, or is your heart aching enough to get uncomfortable for yourself? Is it aching on behalf of someone else? That why, with that word that you came up with last night, will ignite something in you that will inspire you, that will then inspire your community. And then I tell my team all the time, just make a list. Make a list of everyone you know, everyone that you've given information to, ever. Like if you will take time, I do this quarterly. I add to the list of people I know.
No.
I add,
What? Stop. Stop. I'm on a meeting. I'm on a
That
meeting.
was my life from the beginning.
No.
Hang on, Kathryn,
Stop.
I'm trying to unmute somebody.
Oh.
There we go. I found him.
Okay, good. That was my life. I started this business with a newborn and 2-year-old. I feel that. I remember that. Good for her for being on the call. So the list of everyone you know, everyone you've given information to, everyone you have followed up with in the past that said no, and everyone you've never followed up with. Right? I hope I'm not the, put a 2 in the chat if you have given information and never followed up with people, or you followed up with just one. When I say follow up, I mean follow through. You got a firm yes or a no. I hope you all put a 2 because I will feel like I'm in good company. Okay, good. The chat's blowing up because we've all done that. But what if we made a list of those people and went back and said, I am so sorry I was unprofessional. I'm so sorry I was scared. I'm so sorry I got busy, but this is too important for me to leave that loose end. Can we start over? Or can I give you information again? And I promise this time I'm gonna care enough and prioritize enough to just follow up and see what you think, right? That list. And then our current customers, who do they know, right? We know these things. And then we build our skills. What skills are you building? What are you doing to build your skills, to learn something new? Everything from social media to how to follow up and follow through. Practicing the process in real life will get you the greatest success, not just pretending. Like Michael and I used to run the communication boot camp, and we literally would have people not just get the concept, but practice the concept of talking to each other. Because about the 5th time you say something, it actually feels second nature. But the first few times you feel super awkward. So we were like, let's get that over in this room where everybody's safe. But I built my business. I would venture to guess Nikki could say she built her business on practicing on real people saying the wrong things. And some of them started anyway, right? We didn't know what to say. I can't tell you, I think the phrase I say the most in this business, certainly at the beginning, was, I don't know, I'll find out for you. I don't know, I'll find out for you, right? So those things, to humble ourselves, to build skills, and to do those things are so important. And then we have to face fear, and we have to act anyway. You'll always remain stuck if you're waiting for the feeling. The feeling will come after you act. And we do, whether that's healing trauma, like I do with these young women here at Pure Hope Foundation, or it's in my Juice Plus team. And I say it to myself virtually every day. If I wait until I feel like it, I'm never going to feel like it. But if I'll act, the feeling will follow. And it's so true. So when we do that and we learn how to overcome failure and setbacks, this is a little gold for you, as Nikki said. Failure becomes a teacher, right? Or a setback becomes a setup for a comeback. When you step back and you ask these 3 questions: what went wrong? What would I do differently next time? And who can help me? That goes back to the act and ask. You act, maybe you have a setback or a perceived failure. No, you go to Nikki, you go to your other leaders and you say, this is what happened. This is what went wrong. What would I do differently next time? That's how we all learned in this business. So those are ways you can plug into the do of every day. Many of you know these things, but are you doing them consistently? And why do you want to? Someone is waiting on you to be brave. Someone's waiting on you to get out of your comfort zone, to grow. You guys know this, you're probably in the most growth-oriented team in the company as far as personal growth and the way that they give you tools. So I don't doubt that that's happening. But what do you do on the daily? So here's the core of how do you inspire yourself to action. And again, these will seem simple, but I want you guys to think about, when was the last time you laid your head on the bed and you said, oh, I really should have done that today, right? Should equals shame, right? So we don't should on ourselves anymore from this point on. We will put a 3 in the chat if you're never going to should on yourself anymore. Or if you do, you're going to say, oh, Kathrine said should equals shame, never mind, right? No more shoulding on yourselves or others, because should equals shame. But at the end of the day, if we can make a list of what we did right, and the more we can inspire ourselves to action, to say, you know what, I want to call that person. I didn't do it today, but I will tomorrow, and keep that commitment to yourself. But I have to have some tricks of the trade. I'm an introvert by nature. This business is not comfortable for me. Nikki saw that from day one. And so I'm going to do a quick exercise with you before I jump into these, because they're quick, but I'm going to ask you this. You guys can put the number in the chat. I know many of you have been with this company for varied years, because I know a lot of you, but got a lot of longevity here as well as some new people. But I want you to think about, if you could name all the national marketing directors plus, right, NMD to PMD plus, put the number in the chat. How many do you think you could name? If I said, you know, you have a flower, just write as many as you can. I want you guys to write down how many. If I was to ask you, maybe I was going to give you money for everyone you named, right? You're going to work really hard. So I'm seeing 18, 20. Any other numbers? I know it takes a minute for it to catch up sometime. 6. A couple people saying 6, 8, 20, 4. Love this, right? Now, of your own team and beyond, company-wide, I'm seeing 12, 1 maybe, right? So some newer people and some longer term. There's my friend Tyra. I knew, like, the long term. She said 60, right? 60 people. Tyra's probably one of the people with the most longevity on this team. So as I continue to look at that, I want you guys to think about who you compare yourselves to as far as leaders. You know how many NMDs plus everybody above that, top of the company and beyond, right? I'm just going to round, this is not globally, let's 500 or more. And you guys can name about 60 at the most of you somewhere between 8 and 15. The other 480 plus, right, are the different personalities. They're the other people that quietly are inspired to do their business every day. So how do you get inspired? I'm going to give you 12 action to do those things we just talked about, and then we'll wrap up. So this is number 1. Just start. Show up. Don't wait for the inspiration to come, right? That's the whole thing I just said about feeling. Do it. This is my key phrase I say to the team all the time. Do it when you don't. If you do it when you because when we do it when we want to, but most people don't want to more often than they do want to. So if you do it when you don't want to, at least a couple of times, it'll make all the difference in the world. Number 2, break your task down into manageable steps. So set attainable goals that energize you. Your brain gets a dopamine hit whenever you complete something. So quit looking at the big picture. That's not bad. I love. I mean, you should see the walls in my office. They're full of what I want in the future and what has been accomplished in the past. But it's the daily of breaking it down into if I'm going to get that, what do I need to do today in order to make that more likely to come to fruition? And what am I 100% in control of? So, right, a goal is something you're 100% in control of. A dreamer intention means it takes someone else's decision for it to come to fruition. So we all want dreams and intentions. Most of our dreams and intentions require somebody else's decision for it to come to fruition. Don't track that. That'll make you crazy because you can't control. Have you noticed? Put a 4 in the chat if you've noticed that you can't control somebody else's decisions, right? That's one of the most frustrating things. We're not just putting together widgets here. Other people have to decide and show up and say yes and all those other things. So what are your goals? Your goals are the things that you are 100% in control of doing, and you break it down into obtainable steps. I'm connecting with 3 people today. I'm connecting with 10 people today. Whatever it is, care and connect is my goal every day. And I pick a number and I will either smile and dial, text. I use Facebook voice messaging and Instagram voice messaging just because I want people to hear the tone of my voice more than anything nowadays. But people respond to it. So whatever that is, right? Set your attainable goal, break tasks down into manageable steps. That's number 2, by the way, that will energize you. And I promise you, if you can check it off the list and say, I did it, then you're going to have that dopamine hit and you're going to go, oh, at the end of the day, that's what you review. And if you didn't do it, it's just a setback that sets you up for a comeback. If you just say, what went wrong? What will I do differently next time? And who can help me? Do I need to go get an accountability partner or tell my leader, I'm telling you, this is what I'm going to do today? Positive peer pressure is a powerful thing. And then we'll tend to follow through. Number 3 is create a positive mindset by asking yourself, what's good about this situation? That's priming the pump of finding what is good. And that shifts us into a positive mindset. Again, I know I'm preaching to the choir with Nikki's group because you guys talk about growth mindset and positive mindset all the time. The third one is to create positive feelings by writing down 3 things you're grateful for. I know you've all probably heard that before, but when you're stuck and you need to inspire yourself to action, write down 3 things you're grateful for and then take the action. Because it shifts to another part of the brain. I'm not going to get into the neurobiology, but when we get in gratitude, we can't be anxious. They don't coexist in the brain. And so if we can say, I'm calling so-and-so, or I'm doing this post, or whatever it may be, you write down 3 things you're grateful for. It's kind of like going 3, 2, 1, go. That actually has a really powerful effect in the brain. Well, this is that with diesel fuel, right? With rocket fuel. If you do grateful, 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 call. That will inspire you to action. Okay, the next one is be kind to yourself when you make a mistake. Be as kind to yourself as you would to someone else. And then go back to the task. Within 24 hours max, hopefully within minutes. Be kind to yourself and then go back to the task at hand. The next one is know that mistakes are a necessary part of the process.
Right. Watching some kind of TV that's crazy. Got it.
Thank you. So no, we already kind of talked about this. Know that mistakes are a necessary part of progress. When you make a mistake, go, oh, cool. This had to happen so I can progress. It is a necessary part of progress. Cut those overwhelming to-do lists down. Anybody? Perfectionism Anyone, right? Put a 5. Recovering perfectionist, anyone, right? Procrastination is rooted in perfectionism. I'm not going to do it because I want to do it right. I don't not know, can't do it right yet, so I'm not going to do it at all. Procrastination, perfectionism, procrastination, perfectionism. No, that has got to stop if you're going to help other people. Forget about yourself. If you're going to help someone else, you've got to stop that cycle. And the way we stop that cycle is cut the to-do list, focus on 1 to 2 core things that tie back to your why, tie back to what you want to get done, and do it that day. And I love, this is my big thing. For me, I do a 3-minute jump. And what I mean by that is anything I don't want to do, like that number 1 thing I went over today, I say do it for 3 minutes. If you're done, then you're done. I don't know why I can't do 5. 5 minutes is too long, too big of a commitment for me. But if I say, and today that was my thing, I'm going to start cleaning out my office. I'm going to work on it for 3 minutes. If I don't want to keep going, I won't. And you guys should see it. It is gorgeous. My office looks amazing. 3 minutes at a time. I'm going to do 3 more. And then that brain gets, oh, I completed that. I completed that. I completed that. And it literally is giving you reinforcements to keep going. That can be walking. It can be making phone calls, whatever it is that you need to do. Okay. This is a key one. Reflect on your past successes and use the positive feelings to stay inspired. Why do it's like we discount, it's like having a savings account that we forget is there. And we keep saying we're broke. But if we look back at our past successes and we go, wow, I got that first customer. I made that phone call. I made the commitment to do the business. I showed up to the event. Whatever it is, whatever your past success is, and it doesn't have to even be related for it to begin to give you the inspiration to do the other things. There's a thing called a keystone habit. So if you have an arch and there's a stone up here at the top, it's kind of an angle, like, kind of upside down triangle. I can't stretch my fingers to do that, right? But they call that the keystone. That holds the whole arch together. Well, when we would look at all the times we succeeded, it holds together our inspiration. When we remember what we've done, just like a keystone habit, if you put it in practice, you'll find that other parts of your life start to change too. Have you never noticed that? All of a sudden you go, I'm going to walk every morning. Suddenly you're eating better and sleeping better. Or you say, I'm going to sleep better and turn off technology an hour before I go to bed. And the next day you make better choices around your food and you have more energy and work out. But you're focused on that one thing. Well, with your past successes, that's a savings account that you can tap into and remember that's there. So next time you feel stuck, play that movie of past successes and the inspiration will be there. Okay, just 4 more. Eliminate the things that distract you and focus on the one thing you need to achieve your goals just that day. There's always something to eliminate that is distracting us. We live in a time of radical distraction. And for me, I moved Facebook and Instagram off my homepage of my phone and put it in a little folder on my phone. So I actually have to search for it or go looking for it in order to get on it because I was on it way too much. It slowly creeped into almost an addiction where I just kept finding myself with every little moment that was spare, I would check it. And I never thought that would be me. It was a distraction. I put the distraction away and I already feel better, right? I still check it. It's a business tool, but I consciously go to it, set a timer and get off of it. I just had to go back to that basics. Okay, remind yourself of the reason why you want to find the inspiration. That's go back to that heart pounding or heart aching thing. Let that be the fuel that that makes you pick up the phone. And then I did it today. I did it because I really believe in practicing what I preach. And it's tidy space, tidy mind. Hey, when you have your environment is cleaned up, your mind has clarity and it gives us inspiration. Doesn't have to be perfection, but if you find yourself stuck, clean something up. But don't do it chronically. If you find yourself cleaning as a distraction, remember we said put distractions away. But if you're stuck, you will do that. It's just like you could have mind clutter or mind clarity. Mind clarity comes from making your list, taking it out of your head. This kind of clutter, inspirational, means clean your environment and inspirational come. And then finally, listen to an upbeat song. Sounds simple, changes neurobiology. Listen to an upbeat song. If you dance, you get double the inspiration. Truly, this isn't just my opinion. This is neurobiology. And listen to it, turn it off, and go. Go to the action. So my final ask of you in the chat is to put, what is a song that gets you inspired, that gets you moving, that gets you feeling good, right? We all have them that make us sad and mad or cry, but what is a song? This is the Heat playlist, right? I don't know if you guys get the Eye of the Tiger. I love it. I Will Survive. I love it. Grease, movie songs, Uptown Funk. I'm with you, Bunny. The Fight song, Rattle by Elevation. Love that song, Patty. Happy. Yes. Love that song. Don't Stop Believing. Right. Look, we've got a whole list right here with just a handful of you. Believer. I love it. As you guys are doing this, rock steady. As you begin to see these, next time you're stuck, put that song on. Van Morrison, I love it. Whenever God shines his light on me, love it. Someone write down these for our party, Alita said. But this is the thing. These are the things I can only imagine. I love that song. You'll see that in Interrupted, by the way. That song, Funya, is in my, I hope that's how you pronounce your name. That song is in my book. It's very significant to me. Anything by Bob Seger, isn't that the truth? Can't Stop the Feeling. You guys, truly, if I was closing us at an event right now, we would start playing this playlist for you. And so, you know, many of you maybe know that song, I Hope You Dance. That's what I want to say to you today, right? Life is precious, and I hope you dance. Be inspired. Nikki, thank you. The honor of starting off this year with your team. I love you. I love of you on the team, and those of you I don't know, I promise you, I love you by proxy, right? Because you were brought into this by someone that I have probably loved or has inspired me in my life. And I appreciate you guys investing the time to be with me tonight.
Wow. So first of all, thank you, Kathrine. What an amazing call for our first call of the year. I knew that this would be exactly how it is, right? All of you. It's just been an absolutely beautiful call. Maybe you can put a heart in the chat over there to express, there you go, Regina, you beat me to it. How you feel about this call. We've got other great calls coming up. The only thing I'd like to do is just tell everybody, if you would all unmute yourselves and stay quiet for just a moment, but get ready, unmute yourselves and share your one word or your very specific gratitude. What has touched your heart tonight on this call with just one word? So I'm going to put you all on gallery view, and if you would unmute yourself and let's hear from you so that Kathrine knows who we are. Go for it.
Passion.
Uplifting,
Inspiration.
inspiring,
Remember.
Inspiration.
Perseverance.
Lots of love, everybody. Kathrine, once again, thank you from all of the Heat team. We love each other, we love you, and we love us.
Oh, thanks, you guys. Have a
Love and keep the love flowing.
Happy New Year.
Oh,
See you soon.
yeah, we could do our call, Kathrine. Would everybody who knows the mantra of our team came from Chris, and if everybody would say it right now, it would be really beautiful.
Come from love.
from love, keep the love flowing.
All right, come from love and keep the love flowing. 2023,
Beautiful.
let's be. Good night,
Bye, everybody.
Good night.
Night.
Good night.
Here.